Thank you, Leah, for announcing us. And today is the ITB Future Track, and we all are so ready to see some silver lining on the horizon in the near future, and we need to be ready for the future when it's there. And consumers are searching for the silver lining on the horizon as well, of course. And talking of searching and finding, there's one place we all go, that's Google. And the headline of the next 15 minutes is helping the travel industry prepare for what's next. And that sounds very exciting. And I'm very pleased to welcome to the ITB Keynote interview, the Vice President Product Management at Google, Richard Holden. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
There might be very few people out there, but still, for those in the audience who don't know you, could you tell us in a little bit about yourself and more specifically what your role is at Google, please?
Sure. I've been at Google for a number of years now, and I focused for a great deal of time on building AdWords and the tools that advertisers use to manage and set up ad campaigns. And then probably for the past 6 or 7 years, I've been involved in our travel efforts, and I lead the engineering and product management teams that develop tools like hotel search, Google Flight Search, and other related travel products for consumers.
Cool. And I've seen that developing really nicely. So, and I, of course, through all the research, I've seen that you are really one of those Google earliest, you're with Google like from the very earliest days. And so probably everything that can be said about you can be found on Google. Or is there anything about you I would not find if I Google you? And you'd still be willing to share with the audience now?
There are two things that I really enjoy doing that probably would not come out in search. One is I'm a bit of a ski nut. I love to ski and find powder wherever I can around the world. So that's one of my big passions. And the other one is I am very into dancing, which often surprises people, but I do enjoy it very much.
I definitely share the skiing as a hobby with you, and we wouldn't hit on the dance floor as that's not my thing. But yep. I'm sure that's now going to be found on Google as of right now.
No, not much these days either. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's get a bit serious on business here, and let's talk about a bit the state of travel around the globe. What kind of broad trends is Google seeing around consumer behavior? Anything you've learned from recent search trend data?
Yeah, I would say, there are a couple of phases that the pandemic has shown us in terms of search behavior. Last summer, as people began to become a little cooped up with the idea of the pandemic, I think people started to, again, look toward travel as a wish or a hope that they could travel again and do so safely. And we saw people being pretty creative in terms of how they might travel and how they might do it safely. We saw, uptick in queries such as, staycation. That query was up 100% year over year from the summer before to last summer. And queries such as lakefront rentals of houses on the lake were up 200%. So users were beginning to show that they were interested in traveling again, but they were interested in traveling to what they viewed as safe destinations where they can control their environment. And frankly, a lot of the growth that all of us saw in the vacation rental space last year was evidence of that as well, too, as consumers looked for a different kind of travel. I would say as we emerged into 2021, we're definitely seeing that users are still, eager to go travel again. And we've just begun, I would say, to start seeing some uptick in flight-related queries as well, similar to a small uptick that we saw last summer. We're not there yet, but I think people are seeing the vaccination rates and are becoming a little more encouraged about travel. And a lot of the query trends we're seeing now are around, can I travel safely in 2021? Can I travel this summer? And I think that's the number one question that people are beginning to think about, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, is will this summer feel at all real from a travel perspective to me as a user?
So travel safely is the big thing that is searched for. Is it the same around the world? Is it globally or is it regionally different?
No, we're definitely seeing a lot of interest in safe travel. I would say we're seeing, people further along that curve in Asian markets that have started to emerge earlier that may have gotten the pandemic in better state sooner than a lot of other markets. But I still think we're seeing a good bit of query traffic that's about safety. And frankly, I think we're going to see an overhang of that even when the pandemic is over, that consumers are going to be interested in safety and understanding operationally what they're going to encounter when they travel again as well.
Thanks for this. Thanks for this, Richard. But having the opportunity to talk to you, I'm of course curious to hear about latest news from Google. And I understand you have an announcement today regarding your hotel search platform. So I'm curious to hear what is the great news you're sharing with the audience and all of us.
Yeah, today we're thrilled to announce that we're making it free for hotels and travel companies around the world to appear in our hotel booking links on Google. And historically, we've worked with advertisers to make sure that their offers or their hotel offers in particular are available in the product. But now we're also making it available in an organic or free experience for users as well too, or for our partners. So we think that, as we become all cautiously optimistic about the return of travel, we're going to see a strong need for the industry to connect with consumers going forward. And we see this as a great opportunity, not only to serve advertisers as we always have in providing hotel information about particular offers, but also make it available to any player in the ecosystem to offer, make hotel offers free as well within the product. And
Wow.
so soon on google.com/travel this week, you'll start to see those free offers in addition to the advertised booking links as well.
That is a big movement, and I think it follows what you did about a year and a half ago with Flight, Google Flights, and fantastic news. Now, I know that Google is all about consumer centricity, and would you say that this change to offer hotel bookings, free hotel booking links, is it more to benefit Google's users and consumers, or is it to benefit the hospitality industry? What is there something changing for the consumers?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think we really look at it as a benefit to both. From a consumer perspective, consistent with what we do at Google always, we seek to provide the most comprehensive information to users. And this is one further step to make our hotel product, we think, more comprehensive. And frankly, we think consumers will have more confidence about making decisions about booking with more information there. And these free booking links will make the product more comprehensive. We're seeing great receptivity from the experimentation we've done thus far. Consumers are more engaged with the content. They're creating more demand within the product as well too. And we see this as a benefit, we think, for our partners as well. We think that it's going to be an opportunity to both advertise the offers to consumers as well as provide free offers, two different paths for our partners to engage with users. And we're also seeing good benefits from that as well too. We're seeing across the industry, from large OTAs to small hotel operators, they're all seeing increased demand through the experimentation that we've done thus far.
That's cool. That's cool. So what does this mean for the independent and smaller hotels? I've never run a hotel, but I was told it wasn't always that easy to onboard. Is onboarding easy and simple, or does it require a big IT team to help me and to participate?
Yeah, no, there is no doubt that there's some enablement that goes on here in terms of providing feed information to us of the pricing and availability information from a hotel. Typically, we work with a lot of integration partners and hotels directly to provide that information, and many online travel agents, we work with them obviously too to get this information. We are working on an effort that is tied with these free booking links as well to simplify the onboarding process for hotels, so it should be much easier now. And in the future, I hope to see more announcements that we'll have around enabling even the smallest hotels out there that aren't working necessarily with an integration partner to be able, through a website, to provide us with information as well too, to enable their offers on Google as well.
Fantastic. That's great news, because it is, and it's going with travel safely and all. People are looking for smaller places, for hideaways, and so finding them with you is, and being able to book them is of course a big driver and motivator for those hotels to join as well. So can you speculate on how this change will impact hotels and the broader ecosystem of online travel?
Well, I think this change in many ways will be welcomed by hotels. Again, it's another opportunity as we start to emerge from the pandemic here for them to be able to reach consumers in all ways, shapes, and forms. So, they're looking for ways efficiently to reach consumers coming out of a very trying period. We want to help them do that. So I think from that perspective, it'll be beneficial. I think the users will find the product, that they'll have more confidence in the product over time because they believe that they'll seeing all the offers out there. And that in turn will have benefit to our partners as well, both small hotels to large online travel agencies, because consumers will engage with the product more deeply. I'd also see this as consistent with a set of things that we've been doing. You mentioned last year that we made a change in flight search to take that product to be fully organic and offer free leads through that product. We think that this is helpful for the industry as a whole. And similarly, in our shopping space earlier this year, most people in the industry may not be following that as closely, but we've also made free offers, enabled that within the shopping experience too. And the goal there is to broaden the consumer appeal, broaden the confidence that consumers have in the product, make sure that we're giving them comprehensive information, and at the same time, make the ecosystem grow over time because we're engaging consumers more heavily in the product as well. So I'd see these as a consistent set of changes that we're doing across the products as a whole.
It's fantastic to see and to hear how you're talking about ecosystems as much as we do when talking to destinations and regions. It's all one ecosystem. It's not verticals really, and making it all work together and having that platform with Google supporting is of course is just amazing and very helpful. And thank you so much for this breaking news. And sharing them with us, Richard. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions now in the Q&A session that's running on the side, and I'm sure there will be lots of more questions coming up in the coming days. And I'm also glad to highlight the Google Masterclass tomorrow, Wednesday, March 10th at 5 p.m. Berlin time, where Brian Simmons will talk about capturing re-emerging travel demand using Google tools, and this will all together very nicely fit in your announcement here. So thank you for this.
Yeah, well, related to that, I would say actually related to that last point you made, one thing I didn't mention is that trying to help the industry, we've been working on a new website we launched a month or two ago called Travel Insights with Google, which is very much about trying to use data and giving demand fluctuation information to both hotels, to travel companies, to local governments to understand where travel is re-emerging again. So I'm glad there's a session coming up on how to use those tools, because the industry is finding them very useful. As they start to re-emerge, bring back operations, we can share great data on where demand is coming from.
Great. Time is always too short, and especially talking with someone like you, Richard. Again, thank you so much for your time and for your information and the announcement. And whenever you're over in Switzerland, let me know. It would be fantastic to hit the slopes and show you around in one of the ecosystem in the Swiss Alps. So excellent. All the best to you, and hope to see you very soon.
Thank you,
Richard.
much for the time.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.